There's a few metrics that I want to share with you today. A few amazing things are happening within the next week on this channel. G'day everybody, how are you going today? Well, as I said, we're closer to home and we have moved to my old office, which sadly we put it up for lease just before Christmas. Not a great time to lease things, and of course, well, the world's changed. Let's head on inside to our new studio. So here we are. This is not the place where I started my career. I got here within, after the first 10 years of working. Within 10 years, I was able to move into this place. It was both a retail gallery, it was my home, it was production. You've seen my warehouse, you've seen it many times in videos before. Here's one up here that you can have a look at. But come on through. This obviously was the retail space. It's a beautiful space. It has lovely light. And then through here, this used to be full of all sorts of crazy things. We had books stored here, up to the ceiling. Okay. Books stored here, up to the ceiling. All sorts of stuff going on. That's the kitchen and bathroom down there. And then if we head upstairs just ever so briefly, before I go any further, this video is just a quick tour of what's going to be our new operating centre, studio, whilst we can. Now, in just the last 24 hours, the rules have changed here in Australia. We can now only have groups of 2 people. That's it. If you have 3 people standing together, you're going to get a fine of, I think, $11,000 or $1,600. I can't remember. Anyhow, too much considering everyone's under financial stress. So it's a limit of 2 for now. That's what we're allowed to do. Of course, that may change again, who knows. We did get official numbers that our virus rate is diminishing, which is good, but I think it's a bit early to say. Anyway, let's continue the tour. This is our new operating centre for now. We're going to head upstairs. I'll show you where my old office was. So I was basically worked out of this space for this whole building for 20 years, from 2001 until now, although I actually stopped working here about a year ago. This was my beautiful view, and here, where I'm standing now, this is where my desk was for 20 years, give or take. Now it's empty, and well, we're hopefully going to get a new person, someone creative, someone wonderful, using this lovely space. The beach is only about a kilometre that way. It's a beautiful place to come and ride your bike or go for a walk. At lunch, you're so close to the beach, you can go to the beach for lunch, which is lovely. I've always loved it here. But as I've said in previous videos, it just didn't make sense for me to be here anymore, having both the city space and the warehouse and this. I just don't need them all. So I've got a few things besides showing you this is where our new studios are going to be, and we're going to just shoot all over this building because, well, it's empty, so we can do whatever we want. Oh, I'm sure you all want to see this room. This room's great. It's got great light. We might do something creative here a bit later with this great light, but I'm sure you're keen to know this used to be my bedroom. Anyway, moving right along, I'll give you a quick history lesson on these. There is a massive hotel chain in Australia, and they asked me to make bespoke prints for them, and then we would put anywhere between 300 and 600 of these prints into these apartments. And then we ended up doing that across about 10 sites over the space of a couple of years. So what they wanted was were these black and white images with this coloration here, as you can see, a little bit of colour. I think there's one missing. I think there was 6. But what I ended up doing here is, and this will be obvious to most people, but for those that it's not, these are obviously all color shots. And in the end, we played with all sorts of things, but in the end, all we did was remove black and white from most of the image and just leave the original colors that were there, because that was more authentic. And the colors were actually matching the furnishings in the room. So it was a really great gig. That's why I've got those printers. That's one of the reasons why I've got the big printer that you've seen, is when you've got to output 300 of these, you want to do it as quickly as possible and as efficiently as possible and as affordably as possible. Anyway, so what I would do is stick things up on the wall, see what they should look like, understand what they should look like, and then downstairs, I'll show you where I used to print all of this stuff. Come back downstairs and you can have a little look on the gallery as you come down. Follow me, Bellamy. Oh yeah, the printer, that's right. Well, actually, it's one of them. So the old printer is still here. Check this out. Hidden behind these bins is the Epson 11880, and it is a 64-inch printer like the other one that you've seen, the 20,000 or the 270 as it's called here in Australia. Well, who knows why. This printer I got, I think it was late 2007 or 2008. Basically, it ran for 10 or 11 years, and it printed the majority of the work that I ever did, including those prints and the thousands that came from that, out of this very machine. Its head has now failed. The machine is superseded. Sadly, it really doesn't have any great value. A dude was going to buy it for second-hand parts, but he disappeared. So, not sure what to do with it. It weighs like 300 kilos. Anyway, it'll probably end up at the warehouse. I might start using it for something else. If anybody's got any great ideas of what I can do with my 9-ink, 64-inch, 1.5 meter wide printer, it's a glorious machine. It still works. It's just got a couple of blocked nozzles. And the sad part about that is, just to give you some numbers, it costs like $4,000, $4,000 to $5,000 to replace the head, whereas the new printer costs like 12 or 15. I think it costs 15,000. So I know that sounds out of whack, but with the new printer, I got a 5-year warranty. So I know it's a lot more expensive, but it will go, and it'll go with no problems for 5 years, whereas this one could have just done another head because they only warranty those for 3 months. Anyway, that's why I got a new one. Plus it's twice the speed. Let's move on. That's the printer. It didn't used to live there, by the way. It used to live here. It used to live in this space right here, and this is where everything got printed, and then my packing table was over there. I want to say thank you. Not only thank you because I love making this content. The YouTube discipline is so joyful. We love filmmaking. We love sharing our photography world, and there's a few metrics that I want to share with you today. A few amazing things are happening within the next week on this channel. Firstly, number one, I have my very first video to hit 50,000 views. Now, for a tiny little channel like mine, that feels like a lot. And I've actually got two or three videos tracking to hit that number around the same sort of time. So that's very exciting. So thank you. Second metric is, not only we have 1 or 2 or 3 hitting 50,000, but we've surpassed the 1 million view mark. Now that's a really big number. That's a lot of eyes looking at that content. So again, thank you. And the final metric, is we're just about to hit, probably by the time this video lands, 8,000 subscribers. I can't remember when we did the last update. Was it 5 or 6? It was one or the other. 8,000. So we're tracking on the way to 10. I reckon we might be there in 2 or 3 months, something like that. 8,000, that is amazing. That is you. I love creating this content for you. We're here in our new home. We're going to keep punching it out as much as we can. Mark and I, whilst we're still allowed to move around and group together in twos. Sorry, no, I didn't mean that. I just mean in twos. And yeah, see you real soon. Bye.